All right, thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. To begin our, did I say, newspaper review? Well, let's go on this quick break and return to Chukwudi Okolubaja.
All right, we already have with us Chukwudi Okolubaja. Good morning to you, sir.
Morning. How are you today, Nyere?
Very well, and you?
I'm okay. Victor, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right.
If a franco, you won't understand French. It's still cold.
All right, we should communicate in the language that viewers would understand. So we'll take the papers in English. And the lead story on the front page of the leadership here says insecurity. That's the kicker. Waves of change as Tinubu rejigs NIA, DSS, riders. Mohammed replaces Rufai. Ajayi takes over from Bichi. Experts set agenda for new DGs. That's on page 4 of the leadership newspaper. Away from that, beside the lead story, we have Atiku Mwazu Lamido pay tributes to Emir of Ningi. All of that on page 19. And Professor emerges LG chairmanship candidate. Page 22 has that. You want to find out the state. And a very sad one from Borno State. Borno commissioner found dead in own room. That's on page 15. And Mpox updates. Parasitologists seek increased awareness. All of that on page 7. Above the masthead, Niger governor redeems 250 million naira pledge to leadership young person of the year. That's actually the tricycle rider in Kano who returned 15 million naira he found in his tricycle. So, of course, honesty pays. All right, so let's look away from that now and see what the blueprint has for us. Tinubu excited as GDP rises to 3.19% in second quarter. The riders services sector drives non-oil growth. Waleke identifies CBN rate hike, high petroleum products as reasons. Okay, details of all of that. You can pick up a copy of the blueprint. Away from that story, Kaduna is the kicker of this one. 8 months after colleagues' abduction, NARD begins nationwide strike. That's the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. Below that, we can see a picture of some very excited women on the front page of the blueprint. And we have police confirm arrest of 97 Shiites over Abuja attack. Page 10 has that. Tinubu appoints new DGs of NIA and DSS. Of course, that's on all the papers today. And 3 die of suspected diphtheria attack outbreak in Zaria. That's on page 19. Soldiers kill suspected terrorist in Kaduna, recover arms. You want to see what's going on. And of course, just below the masthead, we have this one. Why under 17 pupils can't take WASC NECO exams, according to minister. Very sad for those caught in this web. Page 7 has all the details of that. And unclaimed dividend rises to 250 billion naira in March 2024. All right, so it's about time to leave the blueprint, but let's see what the sports column has. AFCON qualifiers, Eguavon, Mikalop Osime, and Lukman. That's on page 32. Victor.
All right, and let's get to the Tribune, the Nigerian Tribune. Above that masthead, we have Appeal Court reaffirms Igodalo as Edo PDP governorship candidate, saying delegates lack locus to challenge primaries. That story is on page 16. And beside it, Tinubu removes Bichi, appoints Ajayi as new DSS DG, names Ambassador Mohammed NIA head. That story is on page 2. And the major story here reads, The Patriots steps up move for new Nigeria constitution, sets up 17-man advocacy committee, killer heads team. To begin consultations with NAS members, other stakeholders, Anyoko speaks on Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Sudan, and Canada. reiterates why now is best time to have new constitution. That whole story is on page 15. And then on the left strip of the front page here, resident doctors begin 7-day strike, page 4. Police arrest 11 as masked men in NDLEA, I beg your pardon, military uniform, hijack multi-million naira tramadol in Lagos, page 3. Residents of Plateau, Zamfara, Niger mining communities live in fear over constant bandits attacks, page 27. And Amotekun has come to stay in Ondo. That's according to Ayedatiwa in that strip below the nameplate. And finally, Nigeria's GDP grows by 3.19% amidst oil production drop in quarter 2 24. That's according to the NBS. I think we can head to Chukwudi now.
What did you just read? That it grew by a 3 point what?
3.19 as reported by the Nigerian Tribune.
It grew to 3.19. It didn't grow by 3.19. The English of it is very important.
Indeed, because that sets this a different message and time.
Exactly. It grew by 3.19 minus 2.51 in the corresponding period in 2020.
Which was not stated.
Yeah, we have to be very accurate as journalists. Very important. It's not an English class, though. It's good news. You know, I've always said here, without sounding like a sycophant, that I think this government is on the right path. It just came in at a point when things were so low in terms of morale, in terms of realities surrounding our feeding, our health care, and all that. I think they are on the right path, but that does not make them excellent men. So it is very important that we keep nudging from the side.
There's always room for improvement.
Very important, but it is good news. I said, for instance, the other time, that part of the hunger grew too much was that it was the lean period. We are going to get into harvest. You can see tomatoes have dropped to 2,000. What does my friend Conscience call it? That dustbin, container.
Dustbin basket.
Dustbin basket. From the 15,000 I paid at Orozo about 2 months ago, So these things, some of them are seasonal, some of them are periodical. But let us say that the Nigerian economy will grow. But I personally am looking for what's going to really make this economy grow more than anything else. It is fighting corruption. Fighting corruption. Then the mining sector, which is being reawakened now, when it gets into full throttle, you're going to find out that this country has a lot of help. I was at the mining ministry just about 6 days ago, and I told the lady, hey, you guys have a small office, but your assignment is so big. Do you really understand how much mining can do for this country? We all laughed. But there is hope. When we begin to reactivate some of the moribund, comatose, assets this country has, we're going to get better, a lot better. But government, keep fighting. We're still in the woods. It's a very good one, Mm-hmm. That I am still, confused about the attack on policemen by the IMN, Islamic Movement of Nigeria. Nobody has contradicted the police over it was unprovoked. So what is the agenda? First of all, they are prescribed. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we are saying that the procession is illegal. Of course, that draws from the prescription and all that. But what is the agenda in fighting the police? I don't understand it. I think the security forces have to move into this and investigate properly so that we can nip things in the bud. Very important.
Indeed.
The shake-up, shake-up, I say that when some people have, got to the end of their tether, when you tether a goat to a place by a rope, it can't go beyond where the rope can extend to because it's around its neck. I think that the people who have left the DSS and the NIA have served their term. When I see a journalist say people are sacked and all that, I say, hey, you're being extravagant with words.
But the NIADG did say he resigned.
Oh, well, yes.
He resigned if your tenure has come to an end.
It's okay. Fine. The NIADG,
that front.
He didn't have to tell us he resigned.
Well, it was probed.
When you leave,
it was asked by journalists.
When you leave quietly. When you begin to tell us that you resigned, because journalists are wont to seeing the cup as half full of water rather than half empty of water rather than half full, they begin to suspect that something must have happened from behind the scenes.
I remember the person posing the question, my colleague Musbah, was saying that it's unusual for people to, resign
Musbah,
from
that's
office.
our quintessential reporter.
Yes,
wonderful.
And he asked him that question, why are you resigning? That this is not usual. And he said, well, he didn't quite give any, but he said so it was, you have to put it in context.
I wasn't there, but I knew how journalists would think about it, So let them go home and look after their environment, their community. Of course, it does not mean that their service to humanity has ended by their leaving those posts. The new people, please bring more vigor into those very sensitive positions because Nigerians are looking up to you. Let them really, go at it hammers and tongs. It's very important. Nigeria needs people to really get her out of the woods.
And resident doctors begin 7-day strike.
Well, they say it's a warning strike. But
you have to look at what the grievance is. A colleague abducted about 8 months ago.
Yes. What did
8 months?
Actually,
Dr. Ganiyat Kupola.
Yes.
8 months. That's a long time.
It's a long time.
People can't say they didn't engage.
It's a long
for 8
time.
months.
Are we sure the person is still alive? Very important.
And it's female.
That's why I quickly cut myself short there. We must make sure that our sister returns. I always go to sister, brother, and all that because if you begin to see the humanity in people, we'll begin to understand why it is important. We all think into the same basket, The Indian doctors held a very big one.
Similar reasons.
The person was not just killed. She
was violated. And, and murdered.
Some people, you don't know how did we say it in primary school? No, you were not in primary school with me. Medulla oblongata. You don't know how the medulla oblongata works. Each time you wanted to write a love letter in those days, you didn't put that there. How would you bamboozle the lady you were actually?
so that she crumbles.
All right, we're about to go. We hope that, Dr. Kukola Ganiyat, returns home just so the doctors can go back to work. This strike would not do us good as a nation.
It won't at all.
Very sad
That's
one.
talking functionally.
Yeah, so we just hope that things return to normal in the health sector. But, let's talk about this report about the fact that children... under 17. I'm just wondering, what will be your take? Those who are caught in this web, those who are 15, 16, and cannot write.
You heard my take about a month ago. And we almost got into,
fisticuffs.
I said, check what happens in the UK. Check what happens in the US. People are not rushed into the university at 16. I said it. The cognitive abilities of a child are considered not to have developed so well enough. That's why they say, don't put him in school till 6 years. Now from the crash, 4 years, they're in primary school and all that. I think it is good. But they don't quite explain the psychological and sociological reasons behind this. For instance, if your child gets into the university at 18, that child would have matured a bit in terms of thinking for self, that cult members are not going to easily recruit him or her. My 3 children went to the university when they had advanced a bit, and they came back intact to me. You understand? Let's not make it a personal thing. So that's my take on it, my dear.
Agreed, but if we check security system in the school and of course do the needful, maybe the cult groups will reduce. But that's not even the issue now. The question is those who are not yet 18 and maybe are in SS3
Yes.
now, what happens to them?
They wait.
They wait.
The
When
wait,
they get
sit
there,
at home and do
because
nothing?
if they refuse to wait earlier, they go there and wait.
It won't kill
That's
them.
the only way. That's
It
the only
won't
way
kill
to
them.
stop this
You know,
rush.
but Nyere, I would have loved a situation where these things are said early enough so that you don't leave people in the lurch.
So that we transition. Exactly.
The planning matters, you know.
Don't
planning
worry,
matters.
don't worry. There are a lot of people to fill up this. If you are worried about the spaces,
It's not about the spaces.
People will fill it up. Don't worry.
It's about what these children
No.
could get involved
It's the
with in the process
truncation.
of waiting.
Exactly.
We
Do you
just have to-
understand?
Yeah.
And
We
then
just have to
the
go
fact
down.
that you know, like you've mentioned, sometimes it is the school system.
Mm-hmm.
So if maybe we can get it right, such that private schools are responsible for this problem.
I agree with you
if we get it
totally.
right, that's okay. You must be 4, you must be 5 before you get into
And insist
kindergarten,
on it.
and then you get to primary 6, and then you finish SS3. You do 6 years. I mean, you can't have anybody less than 18.
As at when I wrote JAMB, the rule hasn't changed. 16, am I right? 16. But people rush up people at 14 because laws are not implemented in Nigeria.
I'm saying that it
Come
is
on.
the school system which is also regulated, of course, by the Ministry
So
of Education.
if you know you will be
So if
barred
it's-
at
if it
some
is-
point, then you will do the time
So-
at the way you should do it.
So
It
what do you say? What do you
discourages
say about schools that don't have primary 5 or primary 6, for example?
They should have it.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That you enforce some of these things.
Yeah,
should have it.
enforce, early introduction, enforce, it becomes a national policy.
Exactly.
And we all tag along.
So
You
there's no
understand?
way you'll be less than 18 by the time you finish your
I
secondary school.
understand your argument.
Anyways, let's take a break. My producer is on us. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the conversation. Stay with us.